Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central. We're here live. I don't have it in front of me, so the guys are printing it again. XM Saturday evenings re-airs us for 3 hours. Starting next week, we are... Yeah, go ahead and bring it in to me. Thank you. We're going to be on 5 days a week on XM. They had such a good response, but only 1 hour a night. They may expand it as they get more room. XM 158. We're on, XM 156 right now on Saturdays. It's going to switch to XM 158, and that is going to be 8 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the show re-aired on Saturday afternoons is going to switch from the channel it's on now to 158 as well. So exciting, and we got 6 new affiliates in the last week and a half on AM and FM as well, like KEYS 1440 AM, Corpus Christi, KLRG 880 AM, Little Rock, Arkansas, 50,000 watts, WIFL 104.3 FM in Florida, in Gainesville and North Tampa, KMLS 101.9 FM, Carlsbad, New Mexico, WTAN 1340 AM, Tampa, Florida, and some other ones. So very, very exciting. I want to thank all those affiliates. Bob, that really is the good news, though, because I know your newsletter has got like a rocket tied to it. My radio shows, my websites, my films. I've got Newsweek, Time Magazine, Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL attacking me. Newspapers attack me every day. Is that not a good sign?
It certainly is. And they don't attack me because they can't find me.
Oh, hey, they attack you, somebody.
Hey, incidentally, Ted was talking about gold and you as well and its future. And, I had to point something up here. And it's a lot of people want to get into other currencies as opposed to or with being in gold. And I want to point something out here. And I'm going to give you in 3 segments, 2008, 2009, and year to date. The U.S. dollar in gold terms, gold went up 1% against the dollar in 2008. In 2009, it went up 24.7%. And so far this year, it's up 24.3%. And the figures in the yen and in the euro and in the Swiss franc and in the renminbi are similar. I won't go into all the numbers, but I want to let people know that no currency is going to save you. You don't want to be in a currency. You only want to be in gold and silver, and that's the end of it.
Well, Bob, we saw record prices for gold this week in Europe, and it went up some in the U.S., but not as much. And the banks admit they are devaluing the currencies in a coordinated fashion. Why do they do that? Well,
I think the main reason is that they know gold is going to take off, and they're trying to soften the blow. Plus, there's special problems in Europe right now pertaining to the euro and other currencies, the Danish krona and the Swedish krona are having very bad problems. And, of course, the British pound is outside of the Eurozone, and they're having monstrous problems. They're talking in terms of England being the next Greece. And so this shows you the coordinated effort, not only to devalue the value of these different currencies versus gold, but the pending problem of bankruptcy. They're evolving into it. And that's why they started this whole thing in the first place. They could have done this 10 years ago, but they weren't ready. And now they're ready, or they're being forced to, one or the other, and they're going ahead with it.
And they think their police state control grid over Western Europe, Eastern Europe, the Mediterranean, the United States, and Asia, and Latin America is going to be able to keep them in control. They think we're like Argentina or Nigeria, where the people aren't armed and they got away with this. I don't see them being successful. Bob, stay with us just a few more minutes. I want to talk about how you see this unfolding, what's going to happen when they try to drop the hammer. Talking to Gerald Celente, Webster Tarpley, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Bob Chapman, Max Kaiser. We have the analyst and guest on who've been right over and over and over again, I'd say 95% of the time. And I've asked Bob and others, well, why do most of the analysts on TV, and they've had articles about this, get most of their predictions wrong? And Bob and others have said, well, it's not that they're even stupid. They're lying. They're suckering the public. They could be accurate. They know what's going on. It's like a few months ago, George Soros was being interviewed for TV, and he said, well, of course I know where the dollar and currencies are going, but I'm not going to tell you. And they do know. And now it turns out he's behind a lot of what's happening in Greece. Now they're setting it up here. For the banker bailout, they engage in financial terrorism to drive down the currencies. Gerald Celente joining us via video Skype from New York. Top Trends forecaster will be with us in just a moment. But finishing up on that point, Bob Chapman, of the loss of credibility of the mainstream media, to have them running around saying there's no New World Order, the banks didn't steal any money, everything's fine, and then separately on their own channels admitting world government is here. I mean, when I talk about mainstream media losing all confidence in that the public has in them, they almost have a negative deficit now.
Well, that's right. And, if they don't do what they're told, they don't keep their job. And if they don't want to do like CNBC, if you don't do what they tell you to do, you're out. And we just saw that with Dylan Ratigan. And now he's on MSNBC, and he's doing a lot of exposure. Some of the same things that we're doing, and I think that's terrific. But generally speaking, you can't tell the truth. They won't allow you to. And it's not only in the media. It's everywhere. Look at the economists and the analysts for years. I mean, why are they wrong two-thirds of the time? Some of the most brilliant people in the world. Only because they can't tell the truth, because if they do, they lose their job.
But more and more, I was listening to Bloomberg last night and this morning, Bloomberg Financial on my XM Sirius, and they were just giggling and laughing. The bankers are taking over, record profits, ha, ha, ha. The world collapsing is going to be good for us. I mean, you talk about Marie Antoinette as the people are starving outside the Bastille, and they say that they're starving, they need bread, and she said, let them eat cake. Now, it's been reported she didn't really say that, but our modern bankers really are saying that.
And they should be reminded over and over and over again, in a country of 5 million people in the late 1700s, 300,000 of them lost their heads.
Absolutely. All the scum that serve this system is in a lot of trouble, and none of their police state or armored vehicles are going to save them. Bob Chapman, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
My pleasure, and I'll see you a little earlier next week.